Hello everyone, welcome to another video by Shadow Reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing this Bionicle mock, and this is Dark Tahu. And this one was basically just a Tahu mock that I built, and you know, because one of my brothers actually did get another Tahu. See, because this one, let me start at the beginning. Fire is one of my brother's favorite elements. So of course, you know, Tahu is the element of fire, so of course Tahu's his favorite. But you see, since my second favorite element is fire, and Lego did not do a toe of lightning, then you know Tahu is my favorite as well. I did opt to get Kopaka first, just you know, because I wanted to, and because he's cool also. But you know, he got an extra one, and so he built like a Tahu Bioformer ship that you probably won't see anytime soon. But and so I decided to build one as a Dark Tahu Bioformer, and I did. And this is him in his ship mode. It's a very alien looking ship mode, especially up front where you have this like angular large cockpit. It's just very kind of odd looking, and not something you would see driving around on Earth. Now let me give you a top view, kind of, what it looks like. And you can see, I do like it though. It's very cool, despite it being kind of odd, you know. Of course, Tahu swords his wings and used his swords in the robot mode. Because I can, and because it actually is a version of Tahu, it makes a lot more sense. And yeah, you know, it does have this large gap here in the front, but I mean, that doesn't bother me because I could just see that as being like an exposed engine detail, which is cool, you know. And I popped the mask off. Is that on right? There we go. So yeah, you know, pretty kind of nice. It's a pretty cool vehicle mode, you know. But yeah, so you know, it's got some nice angles. Got angle up here, down here. Got angles here and up back here. And there's a trans orange piece over here. There's like a highlight. Got some trans orange up here. And yeah, it's pretty cool despite it being kind of odd. And I am pretty proud of this guy despite some of his problems in robot mode. Now these can move. They're meant to stay down. But if you wanted to, you could totally use these as like hatches for like missiles. Which I've actually thought about doing, you know, because why not? I mean, you could just have this down when he's just like flying normally. Then he gets attacked. Then you can just pop this up and like thousands or like hundreds or just a whole lot of missiles just shoot out at someone. So yeah. So I do like this vehicle mode. It's pretty nice. You know, have some exposed inner workings throughout the thing, and this entire body is like exposed down the middle with all the empty technicals, but it's not that bad, and there's not really anything you can do about it since the gearbox does move there in robot mode. So kind of limited with that. Here's a view from the bottom, which you can definitely see all the inner workings up here, and you do see that I have included a gearbox on this figure, just because, you know, I don't even really know why I started including gearboxes, but I did. I guess it isn't turning out that bad. It's just kind of, I see it as just kind of another way of building a bioformer with a different type of transformation sequence. You know, and his head back here. It's kind of obvious if you look at it from the back, but I mean, it's not too bad. So yeah, you know, pretty nice. Not too bad. Hands up here, kind of obvious, but you know, whatever. You know, I like it. Alright, so with all that done, let's get to transformation. So first what you're going to want to do, you can see that these swords peg into this white piece in the gearbox. Just pull those out, like so. And then, hold on, because I'll fix that in a minute. It's just the gear kind of is sliding off of the axle. So just move these out of the way, like so. So you can start transforming other things. And you can see that that makes this able to move in different ways. So let's see what needs to be done next. Flip it over, and you're going to want to pop this piece off of the pin. See that this has a pinhole in it right here, and that, if you line it up properly, it'll connect with this pin here which does help keep it down and just from moving around a lot. And I popped his mask off again. So now what you're going to want to do is split the hands so that they connect with this, which is like this assembly. And make sure you slide out the arm, because that's essential. Slide this out and make sure you take the pin with it. Now, unfortunately, this assembly does not really store anywhere that I would like on the robot mode, and I'll show that when we're actually in robot mode. So I just usually set this off to the side. So you'll probably just have to carry that around as like an added assembly. So here you have it. Let's fix that axle right there. So here we go. That's what you want to do is going to pull out his legs like this. Then for the feet, since these kind of get in the way of like this, what you're going to want to do is spin them around like this, then spin them around and straighten them. So again, like that, then you spin them around so that they're flat and normal. So next you're going to pull these out like so. Just move them down past the gearbox, move the wings out the way, and then spin these around so that they're facing the front, just in preparation for moving the gearbox. Next what you're going to do is you're going to, at these ball joints right here, you're going to bend the gearbox up so that's parallel with these parts. And with that done, I'm just going to bend it up a little bit to clear out space for the legs to actually straighten out. Alright, so let's see how I'm going to do this next part. Just go ahead and stand them up. So the arms, I'm going to have to do quite a bit. So move this out the way, move it down, and then straighten out the arm. And then just kind of move it like that. Move this shoulder pad, it's on this bone, just spin that whole bone back like so. Then what you want to do is bend this like this to get out the way, spin this around like so, move this down, and adjust this chest plate as shoulder armor. Let's see if you can see that. Just kind of something like that, and then just kind of angle this like that. Make sure you don't pop the arm off completely. You know, just like that. Nice and simple. Like that. So I'll just do the other one on the other arm. I may just cut this arm out the video just because it'll take a sec, but I may not. So spin this around, angle this. No, move this down over the shoulder. Just like so. Alright, so now that that's done, let's come up, move these wings forward, kind of, just to, get them out the way. And then bend this gearbox at this joint right here, just bend it up and connect the pin with the main body to hold it on. And there you have them mostly done. Let me adjust the camera after I get them to stand. And up. Just spin his head around. Mask must have fallen off, so just put that back on. Then these, you're just going to leave the swords on. You're going to, like, for ship mode, these are oriented like that. So you're just going to run spin them around like that. Hopefully you could tell what I was doing. You're just going to move these up so that the armor is on the outside and place them as far back behind his head as you can. Then just kind of bend the sword down so that this axle comes up next to his waist, and you can see that from the front. We'll do the same on the other side, like so, and then just straighten and adjust everything to your liking. And there we have Dark Tahu in his robot mode. And oh, I keep hitting pieces. He's got the Tahu mask, which makes him look like Tahu automatically, but also has the chest piece, he's got the red. And yeah, I mean, this robot mode I do like. It looks great. It's just functionally there are a few problems with them. First of all, the axle that holds on the ball joints in the gearbox for the arms, and that's just a problem period with the gearbox. It will slide out from time to time, especially during transformation. So just beware of that. And yeah, pretty nice. Like I said, this is Dark Tahu. So to kind of, emphasize that, I put on some darker colors, as you can see. Black chest plate, gunmetal gray armor on the forearms, and some black down here. I did use the printed pieces from the Splitter Beast just because those were the only 4 long black armor shells I had. So, you could swap those out for just normal black, but I think the scaly look looks kind of cool here. But, here he is. Let me just spin him around so you can see him. He does have the sword sticking up at the back, which is like a reference to the original Tahu. They do angle out, so that's a bit of a problem. But you can always just take those off. This is pretty much just how its weapons store. So yeah, there's the back. You got your gearbox. It spins. One of the sides. And yeah, and I do utilize these ball joints so those are not exposed and don't look bad. See, this axle's popping out already, and I haven't really done anything. But yeah, pretty nice. I like them. So for articulation, his head, you can look down a little bit. You can tuck it under if you need to get a little more. You can look left and right, and can look up about that far just because these are in the way. So for his arms, they may be slightly or just a bit limited by his shoulder pads, but I don't see that as a whole lot of a problem because these are on ball joints. They can also swivel down there, so that's not a problem. So the arms can go back, they can go forward, they can go up with the shoulder pad about that far, and they do still rotate like that. And elbow bends about 90 degrees, and you have all the hand articulation you'll ever need. I mean, just up here, just talking about up here, this is where most of the problems are, and I'll get to that right after I do the articulation. So his hips go back. They are a bit limited by this piece right here, this piece, but you can just move it over and it still works just fine. So it goes back, goes forward, go out, in a little bit. You got your spin, bend at the knee, about that far. Foot does not go out, well, it goes out only a little bit, about that far. It goes forward about this far, and then it goes back about that far. Just because of how I have this attached, it gets in the way of the ankle articulation. It does go in pretty far though. That's not bad, and like in robot mode, you can just put it to the side. But the only problem with that is that it does that, so that's not that helpful as articulation. But overall, I mean, it's not too bad in the ankles, and I think it's enough to where you can pose this guy and stand him however you need to. Let me just get him in a pose real quick here. And yeah, I do like this guy. He's very cool looking, and he does, he does have enough of a Tahu look for me. I mean, it's mostly in his mask and his chest, and because he has his fire swords, but that's enough for me. And I do like this mock, and it's because I call him Dark Tahu that he is Dark Tahu, so get over it. He does carry some of the same builds or same references to the original Tahu. Like, for instance, on the legs, this assembly, exactly as it is flipped over and put on his thighs. So you probably seen it already, but basically it just, on the original Tahu, you do that. So that is kind of a reference to the official build. And the arms, the build is almost the same. On the original, there's 5 long armor shells up here, and this moved down here. But 4 longs are used on his forearms on the official build, and they are used here as well. And also, up here behind the head, there would be shoulder pads made with these transparent orange pieces, and on here they're just behind the head, so if you want to, that could kind of be a reference to Tahu. Now, with all that said, we're gonna have to talk about this guy's problems. This guy has a lot of stuff up here in his torso, like all up here, and that stuff would be the shoulder pads and then these things back here that just hold the swords. Now you can take the swords off, just slide them out of those things, and you can have that look and have them wield the swords. You know, you've probably seen that before. And you know, you can press these back pretty far so it doesn't really interfere with the head. Most of the problem is with these shoulder pads and the arms. They're kind of, oh my gosh, they're kind of cumbersome, and just because of how they're built and the way they're angled, they do seem to get in the way of just a lot. Like, posing is not too bad, it's just that you constantly have to come up here, push in this axle that holds on to these two ball joints, and then you have to adjust the shoulder pads, and then you end up sliding something out. Then your arm pops off, and you have to put that back on, you have to do more adjusting. It's just all a big kind of mess up here, and there's not really much that you can do unless you just change the shoulder pads. See, I'm just trying to get this to come and spin, and I guess partly it's because of how tight the joints are, so it's kind of hard to get things to move, or harder to get things to move, but I wouldn't want loose joints. I mean, it's just kind of really just kind of a mess up here, just because of how everything is. You know, your axles are sliding out, you gotta constantly move these, which is making your axle slide out, and it's just all really annoying, I guess, because you're constantly adjusting things and re-putting things back in, and it's just so very annoying. Now, if we turn to the back, we do see he still does have a gear function, exact same gearbox as Tahu's, except for this assembly, which allows it to connect to this assembly, which allows it to connect to the body. So if you just move these up a bit, you can go ahead and spin the gearbox. And this is where a lot of the shoulder pad problem, well, I guess not a lot, but this is where the shoulder pad problem really makes a lot of a problem in terms of play features. I can see I can only get to go up this far with the shoulder pads and down this far, just because of you know, these pieces that fan out to the back and these parts up here. That's about all the movement you'll get. So yeah, it's pretty limited with this guy. I mean, in terms of articulation, you still get a good amount. You get pretty much everything that you could need, and you're a little bit limited in the arms, but that's about it. And it's not really that much of a limitation. It's just that all this stuff up here, it makes it annoying to like have to move his arm and then readjust the shoulder pad, and just all that is just kind of annoying because I mean, everything is on like 3 different movement points. Like the shoulder pad, you can move them. See if I can get you guys to see the it connects to the ball joint, the second ball joint right here, on a bone piece, so that bone piece can move up and down. Then it connects here on a swivel point, so it can move side to side. Then it has this ball joint here. So that's like 3 points of articulation for something that really does not need that much. That just kind of makes it hard to move with all the other stuff, you know. Basically what I'm trying to say is that it's not easy to like manage all of this, but if you're committed, then you will eventually get things to be the way they want. I'll just give him his swords real quick to him, so that you can see him with his swords. And there he is. You know, it's the standard Tahu swords. And like I said, this assembly I just toss over to the side because I don't want to attach it to anything on here. And there are quite a few attachment points where you could put it when you spin around to the back. You know, since it does connect with an axle, you could put it up on either of these things, but I don't want to because then it'll be hanging down like that. And then you can put it here and then fold it up, but then it'd be back there. Let me fold this up real quick so you can kind of see what that might look like. It'd be like that, and that I don't like either. So, I mean, if you really wanted to attach it, you could find a place for it. There's a few different options, but I don't want to because that would look bad. So I just set this off to the side and go get it when I want to transform to vehicle mode. Yeah, but, you know, here he is. And his story, why is there a Dark Tahu? Well, actually, Tahu himself did not turn dark. Instead, he got hit. You know, he got hit once with normal energon, and then at another time he got he came into contact somehow. I'm not sure really how. I haven't fleshed out the story that much. But he came into contact with Dark Energon. And what that Dark Energon actually did to him was, instead of turning him evil or turning him into like a Terracon type thing, it kind of cloned him and made this, which is basically another Tahu, just evil. Instead of he still can wield normal fire, but he also wields black flames, which are flames of like darkness and stuff. If you were to be a like super serious mocker, then I would take these like flame or lightning pieces, I like to call them, because they look like lightning, obviously. You could take these and dye them like black or transparent gray just to represent his black flames. So yeah, he does have those powers, and he basically is a clone of Tahu in the dark form. So he's like evil. Everything Tahu is, he's kind of the same except with like an evil twist on it. So like Tahu's rash and daring. This guy would be daring, maybe as rash, maybe a little bit less rash, because the evil dude seemed not to, just jump headfirst into things. But I mean, if you wanted to, if you built him, you could have him just be as rash as Tahu. If you get the Lego club magazines, then there was an issue that told us some of the stats of these two, and Tahu does have a luck level of like 10. So this guy would have a luck level of the same. I don't believe in luck, because luck is just a silly way to explain how things go for you. But if luck was a thing, then this guy would have a luck level equal to Tahu's. But luck is not a thing. I don't believe in it. So yeah. And, he pretty much is everything that Tahu is, except he has enhanced strength. He has his black flames, which are super powerful. And, you can see he does have the golden mask. I guess you could see that as being like a clone of the golden mask. Or just like, you could just see this as being like a normal mask, just painted gold, or, something along that lines. Now, if you do know, we are getting, actually, I haven't seen it, I don't think. But we may, if you've seen the Summer Wave for Bionicle 2015, then you know that a lot of those sets come with a corrupted version of the Golden Mask. I don't think I've seen Tahu's corrupted version of the mask yet, if they're going to release it at all. But if they were to release a corrupted version of Tahu's mask, then I would definitely use that on this Dark Tahu figure. That would just fit so well. And it'd just be like trans orange and gold. And that would look just cool, because he's like a corrupted version of Tahu, made with Dark Energon. And he has some of the properties of Dark Energon. He is a completely thinking and sentient being. He isn't like a zombie or anything. He's smart, he's cunning. He'll probably kick your butt. And, he's pretty much the exact same as Tahu, just like evil. Just with evil intents, no mercy, just everything that would make Tahu evil. But enough of me talking. That is all I have to show. I should mention, if you're going to transform this guy back into his vehicle mode, that is a bit harder than putting him in his robot mode, just because of how much you have to adjust things. So that is worth mentioning. But anyway, that is about it, guys. So thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. And don't forget to subscribe for more mod content. And I will see you guys later.